UFC Vegas 100, the 100th event at the Apex Center. Insane. November 9th. With me today, Cody Stamann. Cody, how we doing, bro?
I'm good, dude. Just finished, I think, hopefully my last sparring session of camp. So still alive, still got all my limbs, all my teeth, got a couple shiners, but other than that, I'm ready to get the job done.
And I think to start, some congratulations are in order. You just got
Yeah,
married, correct?
I did, man. I was fishing on a boat in the mountains in California when I got the call at like 7 weeks. And so the honeymoon got cut a little short. Hopefully we can celebrate a little more after the fight. But I literally went from like just enjoying my life, my family here, all my friends here, to a week later, like, all right, time to get in fight camp. I mean, but it was good. I was ready. I like the gym. I like training. I've been out of the gym for a few days, and was like I was actually ready to get back, and it was a nice little break I think I needed.
Wedding was nice, though. Ceremony was great.
Oh yeah, wedding was perfect, man. It was really good. It goes by so fast, you know what I mean? There's so much. It's like a fight. It
Blink
really
of an
like
eye, bro.
Yeah. There's so much that goes into planning it. Obviously I had nothing to do with any of that, but
Yep.
yeah. But yeah, it's just like it's here and gone so fast. It literally felt like I was getting ready for a fight, like the nerves and stuff, like right before. I'm like, oh man, this is happening right now. Holy crap.
Most nerve-wracking part for me, at least, was I think it was entering like the big hall at the reception right after we got married. It's like, dude, I don't want all the attention on me. Like, come on.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
congratulations, man. Very, very
yeah.
happy for
Thank
you guys.
you.
Talking about MMA now. Very journalistic question. Your contract. I saw you put out in an interview that this is, do or die, as you said.
Yeah.
Now, is that anything to do with your contract? Like, is this your last fight on the contract? I'm just curious.
Last fight on the contract. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, everything lined up. I put myself between a rock and a hard place. Last fight in my contract, on a skid. I gotta get the job done. There's nothing else to it. So I'm leaving no stone unturned. Just doing everything I can to be, physically and mentally ready. Again, I guess a lot of times, I'm really, really focused on who I'm fighting and, coming up with a specific game plan. And like, I felt like I did that really well against Taylor Lapilus. Like I had a great game plan. And then I got in the fight and like, I didn't do anything that I was supposed to do. You know what I mean? I just didn't fight with a very high fight IQ. And, so now this time, I feel like there's one thing I've changed. It's like, I'm just focusing on me. You know what I mean? Like everything's been, you know, really just me trying to be the sharpest version of myself. Like I don't really know what Damon Blackshear is going to bring into the cage. I don't know if he's going to try to wrestle me. I don't know if he's going to try to, kickbox me. We're going to be fighting in a little cage. Him being a little longer than me isn't going to mean much. So I feel like, at the end of the day, we're both in a do or die situation, and it's just going to be a scrap. You know what I mean? It's going to be about who wants it more. And when push comes to shove, I've been here for a long time, and there's a reason for that. And it's because like when the chips are down and I'm in a tough place, like I'll gut it out, make it happen.
And like you get the big win coming up. You get a big juicy contract afterwards. Like ideally for you, how long do you want to do this? Like how many more contracts do you want to fight? And also like on top of that, is it UFC or nothing at this point?
No, I don't necessarily think it's UFC or nothing, but for me, I've always wanted to fight the best guys in the world. You know what I mean? And I think my resume proves that. There's not a fight that I've run away from. There's maybe some fights in my career where everybody was kind of like maybe not this one right now. I'm like, no, this is the fight that was offered. Like we're fighting. You know what I mean? Like I'm not the guy to run away from a fight. I mean, I came in the UFC with a pretty polished record, and I knew that like jumping into the top 10 after 6 months of being in the UFC, that it was going to be pretty tough to stay polished in the best division in combat sports, against the best athletes in the world. And I've had a rough go. Like let's be honest, like I've shit the bed a few times, and I've learned and I've beaten myself up, and I've gone through every emotion that you can have as an athlete. I've been at the very top, I've been at the at the very bottom, and I've watched guys that I had super razor close fights with go on to win world championships. So in my head, I still believe I have everything it takes to be one of the best guys in the world, if not the best guy in the world on any given night. I see it in the gym. I felt it. I've, I've, I felt it in so many different scenarios, fighting guys that are, world champions. I fight at Xtreme Couture. There's some of the best 135 pounders in the world in the gym. I'm competing with these guys every single day. And, if I'm hot, like no one can touch me, and that's just the God honest truth. When I'm on and I'm firing off cylinders, like everyone knows that like I'm not the guy you want in front of you. And I think anyone that I train with consistently can say that. So it's just, for me, it's just about putting it together at the right moments, not having my best training sessions in the gym, and not being so focused on what my opponent is going to bring and just focusing on myself. Because when I do that, and like in this camp, I haven't really had ample time to prepare. Let's be honest, I had 6 weeks, and a big chunk of that is, I went from, going crazy at a wedding to like, all right, now we got to dial it in and get in fight camp. I wasn't on a good diet. I was drinking, I was, messing around. So I had to clean up like that. And I haven't had any time to focus on what Damon Blackshear's doing. I've only had time to focus on myself, my weight, getting myself in the best shape possible. And I did it in a big hurry, and it was not easy. Let me tell you, it's been brutal. Like I was just on the phone with my mom. My mom's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Mom, I haven't done anything but go to the gym. Like nothing. There's nothing. I have nothing to report. I'm like, I'm beat up. I'm hungry, and I'm ready to get into a fight."
I mean, it's good timing with Thanksgiving. You get the pig out afterwards, right?
Yeah, yeah, dude. Actually, thinking about that, someone said that today. They're like, "Yeah, at least you're not fighting in January the way you have been the last couple of years." I'm like, "Yeah, that is brutal." Everybody's like enjoying the holidays, and you're just like the
Shut up.
miserable. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I did a
Exactly.
jiu-jitsu tournament last January, and I was like, everybody leave me alone. I don't want your Christmas cookies. I just want your
Yeah.
sympathy. All right. But
Yeah. It's not worth it. Don't do it.
no, but a question I've been asking fighters this week specifically is you watch Max Holloway get knocked out for the first time
Yeah.
ever. You watch Robert Whitaker get we don't know the injury, but something brutal with his jaw. You got a shiner right now as we're talking. Like, how do you look past the dangers, the potential, bad things that can happen in a fight and just put your head down and go in and compete? Like, how do you look past that?
I don't know. I don't know. I just think we're so, I see those things and I feel so close to them, but so separate from them. You know what I mean? I'm very aware of like all the terrible things that can happen to you in training and in the gym. But you see it happen so often that it just becomes it's so second nature. You know what I mean? I've seen bones break. I've seen ACLs just shred. I've seen people break their necks in training. You know what I mean? I've seen some nasty, nasty injuries. Like I witnessed, well, like I've seen these things happen. I've done them to people. You know what I mean? And I just think you get to a point where it's just like you see that stuff and you're like, oh man, and then you're on to your next round. You know what I mean? Like you're not really getting hung up on it. And it is really, really hard to watch someone that I look up to so much like Max Holloway, you know, not make it happen. But like that's the sport, like this isn't boxing, none of us are getting out polished. Like that's just the reality of it. Like somebody's gonna get you. That's MMA. There's way too many ways to win, there's way too many ways to lose. And then like all it takes is one mistake in the cage. We're not wearing puffy gloves. These are little tiny
Yeah.
rock hard gloves. And brutal stuff happens. When you get two of the best guys in the world in there, like all it takes is one wrong move and it's over.
Game of inches, man. You see it every
It really
week
is.
play out.
It really
It's
is.
brutal. But I guess you guys know what you sign up for. You guys are warriors for a
Yeah.
reason, man. And your card, UFC Vegas 100. You say what you will about the Apex. I'm not one of those people that's too bothered by it. I like that they're actually putting effort into bumping the entire facility up. Um, Some people are saying this isn't the strongest card. I'm a hardcore fan. Every card interests me. But given that there's no giant, top five name on the card as a headliner, do you like that as an opportunity to show off, stand out, especially needing a new contract?
Money. For me, like I have seen I have seen some of the best fights on cards that no one talked about. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the fights that weren't hyped up. There was an Apex card. Was it an Apex card? It was like 2 weeks ago. Every fight on that card was a banger. Every single one. Like top to bottom. Every fight, it was a finish or it was a war. And I was just watching these fights, and I'm like I was just kind of like watching them in the background, and then next thing I know, I'm on the couch for 3 hours, like watching these fights because it's like everybody just brought it, and I think that's kind of what people miss is that a lot of times like those end up being the best fights to watch because the matchups are way closer. I feel like a lot of times the matchups in the pay-per-view cards are a little bit lopsided. Like you have a pretty good idea of who's going to pull it out, and then you get these Apex cards, and they just go off. And in terms of like the name value on the card, like the more name value, the less likely you are to get a bonus. You know what I mean? So like when there's not a ton of name value on a card, like I'm thinking three checks. You know what I mean? Like that's literally the first thing I think of. Anytime I've gotten a bonus, it wasn't on a pay-per-view card. It was on, a random card somewhere. That's when the money comes. So, for me, like I would actually kind of rather fight on cards like this. Obviously, I want to fight on pay-per-view, but like I have no issue fighting, winning, making a bunch of money, and then, having that set me up for a different fight. So yeah, I don't really care. And plus the Apex is 2 miles from my house. So like I'm gonna
Yeah.
drive there, get in a fight, come home and have a few beers.
Very, very ideal in that sense. And then for camp, are you still at Xtreme Couture full time? You bopping around at all? Any training with Damon Blackshear this time around?
Yeah. No, I haven't seen him in the gym. I'd love to train him. But no, no, I'm in Vegas. Yeah. I mean, I bop around a lot. I've been hitting the boxing gym, just moving around, just anywhere I can get the work I need. I have a kid from the Midwest named Jamal Miller, stud wrestler, stud boxer, give me a really good look, kind of like exact same size as Damon Blackshear. So he's been staying with me. I've been training with him a ton, and yeah, it's just everything has just been focused around me. You know what I mean? Like I am working on Xtreme Couture, but like I'm not really doing any classes. It's just small groups. I got 3, 4 guys I trust, and we're just getting after it every day. It's
Two more
like
questions.
that's like the boxing. Like the boxer's got to figure it out. You know what I mean? It's like how many guys do you really need to get ready for a fight? You need 3 dudes. You need 3 guys and some coaches. Like that's it. That's all you need. You don't need 40 dudes in a room. Like you can't train with all those dudes. So I mean, well, Extreme Couture, like it's like a brotherhood of the guys that train together year round. But there's only a handful of guys that I really, really trust to train with, like on, when it comes to like getting this close to a fight. Like I'm not going with some random dude. I want people I know and trust, and I know that are gonna keep me safe because like, this next, 5 days, they're pretty important. It's like, and you see so often, guys get banged up in these last few days because your body's worn out, you're on a crazy diet. There's so many things. So, I'm just I'm saying my prayers and hoping that I can stay healthy because right now I'm healthy, and that's a hard thing to do, especially after the tornado I just put my body through.
And I was saying 2 questions left here. One, you get the big win. You enjoy the holidays, new contract. What does the ideal 2025 look like for Cody Stamann?
I want to fight every 2 months, like straight up. I literally want to I want to be active. I don't like these big, like I think I fought maybe 5 months ago, which now, it's different than when I first got in the UFC. You know what I mean? Like when I first got in the UFC, I felt like every 2 months I was getting that phone call, like, hey, you probably got a fight coming up, and now it's like, I feel like I'm reaching out, like, hey, what's going on? What were you doing? And it's just because there's so many guys now, and it makes it a little tougher, but I'm I hate that we're at a point where it's like the squeaky wheel gets the grease, because I'm a blue collar dude. Like, I want to show up to work and go home and enjoy my family. You know what I mean? And like, we're at a point where that's not enough. That's not enough. Like, you don't get to be that guy anymore. Like, you got to be, something else. So, I really just need to invest more time and money into, you know, being a freaking clown online, I guess, and just calling more shots. But like, if that's what's going to get me paid, that's what I got to do, because I want to get paid to fight everybody.
And my last question for you, I don't typically talk politics, but I'm going to talk politics because we're a week out from a big one. I guess, there's a lot of attention on this one. I mean, political atmosphere changed in 2016. Now we're here kind of living that same life, but Trump's making a lot of noise. He was on Rogan. Vance is on Rogan tomorrow. I guess just like, give me your thoughts and prediction for the 2024 presidential election. Does it happen clean, or is there some foul play, I guess is what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think there's already foul play. Like, I can't get on my phone. I can't watch anything without watching a Kamala Harris commercial. You know what I mean? And like, I'm a diehard Republican. I have been my whole life. And Trump, while he is, a big personality and he rubs a lot of people the wrong way, I think he did a great job last time. I think he'll do a better job than Kamala Harris this time. That's just, that's my opinion. That's not me stating any facts. I'm not claiming to be a political expert by any means. But, I went to the Trump rally and, I sat second row and I heard, 20, 30 speeches. Sean Strickland and I were sitting there texting back and forth like, yo, when is this gonna, like, where's Trump? Like, what are we doing here? Like, we sat through 2 hours of speeches, but a lot of the speeches were about God. They were about family. They were about unifying the country. And I'm like, I don't know how you could really like dislike anything that people are saying right now. And I think we're at a point now where it's so polar, like, people can't have a conversation about politics. It's like, you guys, like, we're all Americans, you know what I mean? Like, at some point we have to like come back together as a country and be a whole again, and no matter what your political views are, I'm open to having a conversation with somebody about it. And, I feel like a lot of those conversations just end up with me not saying a single word and just listening to someone else's point of view. Because at the end of the conversation, I'm like, we both want the same thing. We just think a different person is going to do the exact same thing. Like, we all want things to be cheaper. You know what I mean? We want to be taken care of by our government. And whether that happens under any leadership is up in the air. But yeah, I mean, we need to get back to a point where we can at least have the conversation, and it's not like, it's not the daggers coming out as soon as you like mention that you're supporting one politician or the other, because we're all in this shit together.
Now, a lot of people would hear you say that and they would call you and my little Jewish ass Nazis. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, no, like, and that word, man,
Crazy.
some of the words that people are saying, I'm just like, you guys,
I
that
know.
is ridiculous. Like, like,
It's disrespectful. It's like, come on,
yeah,
we can have a difference of
very,
opinion. You know what I mean?
very disrespectful. And I've been lucky that no one's like gone that far, with me. And there's a couple guys at the gym, and I'm not gonna say their names, but they're hardcore Democrats, and like, we have been like hashing it out every single time you're at the locker room, and really, actually, and at first it was like, oh, and everybody was kind of getting uncomfortable, like, hey guys, calm down, like, hey guys, calm down, because it's a bunch of professional fighters, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everybody's like thinking that something's gonna pop off. And now we're at a point where we're like, there's an open dialogue, and we can actually have a normal conversation about something without like saying names, and you know what I mean? Like, let's talk about like why you think this way, you know what I mean? And let's see if there's actually some common ground between the two of us. Like, I bet you we both want the exact same thing. We just think someone is going to do a better job. And like, that's the reality.
very rare of an American voter wants the country to fail. So,
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. I think we're all wanting the same thing. We're just so convinced that our guy is right and that their guy is wrong. And it's like, you guys, come on.
well, hey, Cody, big week. What is that? Next week already? Got the election, and then more importantly, your fight. Anything for the fans before you get out of here?
No, yeah, God bless and yeah, pray for me. Pray for Damon Blackshear too, because he's gonna need it.
I love it, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, don't miss it. November 9th, UFC Vegas 100. Cody Stamann kicking some ass in there. Cody, thanks for the time, man. Have a good night.